Hey, I'm Dave Pirner from Soul Asylum. Well, when we played here in 1989, it was very quaint, kind of, it was a lot smaller than it is now and just a lot less hustle bustle and it's just a little more low key, I guess is the word. And I mean, the cool thing is we're coming back and playing. After this, I'm going to play Waterloo Records, which we played the first time we played South by Southwest. Then we played like in the middle, and I almost felt like we shouldn't be here. I was like, well, we've been discovered already, but now we're kind of here again to go, we're still here, Feels like half the audience is people that have seen us a million times, and there's people that have never seen us before, and it's a good place for that, for sure. We started working with a guy named John Fields 2 records ago, and he was the guy that came up to me and said, I need to put you in a room with Michael Bland, my drummer. And the 3 of us started working together in the studio. So we kind of go out to LA and make a skeleton of the song, and then we'll bring it back to the studio in Minneapolis or back to the studio in New Orleans, work on vocals or whatever. I kind of bring the songs to the band, maybe 3-4 songs at a time. So, we'll kind of put it together like that. It kind of probably happened over 4 or 5 sessions where 4 or 5 songs happened each time, and then you kind of work on the ones that people just sort of naturally gravitate towards, and a few songs always end up on the cutting room floor, and a few songs turn out a lot better than you expected, and some of them you just can't get them right. But this time around, it's been really fluid and really cohesive as far as us all really understanding just the language of recording. And me and Michael, if we're not playing live, we'd rather be in the studio. We're just studio rats. We just like it. And so is Winston and Justin. I mean, so everybody has a lot of experience, and I've worked with some of the greatest producers, so I can steal all their moves, and I feel really experienced for the first time, I think, maybe, and a lot of it comes from just being around the rest of the band. Like, Michael's got so much great experience and so many just really intuitive studio chops. Like, he has perfect pitch, Michael, my drummer. So he'll we work on things like if the song's in the wrong key for my voice, he can actually help me with that. And that's never happened to me before. I'm like, I need to bring it down a pitch, and Michael will go, well, try D, try C, and then he's like, okay, that there it is, So there's a lot of kind of, I don't know, exquisite, intuitive stuff that happens that has taken this long just to sort of let it happen without forcing it, I guess. Yeah, I think Change of Fortune, the song surprised me because I had been trying to get it right for so long, and it finally came together. And there's another song called When I See You, which I really didn't understand what it was going to sound like when it was finished, and it came out, I really like it. Like, I have to listen to it and go, every time I put it on, I'm a little afraid of what's going to happen. So actually, a lot of the record turned out better than I thought it would, considering that we were kind of on our own a lot of the time, and it's all the band's instincts. And yeah, I was really scared to death the first couple times I played it, but actually very relieved after it was over. I was like, oh God, it sounds like Soul Asylum, and it's got a lot of low end, which I really like. So the rest of the guys growing up Winston's from Jersey, from the East Coast, but Justin and Michael grew up in Minnesota, and there's just funny things that you're not really expecting your drummer to be referencing some of the things that from your childhood, and then you realize that you both grew up kind of listening to the same radio station and stuff like that. So there's all those connections. And I lived in New York and I lived in Los Angeles, and I kind of tried to, make it happen where the business was happening and stuff like that. And then I got really kind of, I don't know, I started noticing every time I went to New Orleans, it's like, oh, this is where people, even from the music industry, go to sort of get away from the music industry and be around music that's kind of, well, I don't know. I don't really know what the expression is. It's just so pure and organic and handed down through the generations, and it's just beautiful. And the more time I visited, the more I just felt this pull, like it was a magnet that was pulling me in. And I was a trumpet player when I was a kid, so I'm hearing all these trumpet players going, "Oh, that's how that thing is supposed to sound," and the second line beats and all the rhythms and the parade. It's such a music city. So, and it couldn't be more different than Minneapolis. So I make jokes about people, they'd call it the flyover zone, that place between New York and LA. But the more I've been around, the more you go down the Mississippi River, and then you're in Memphis, and then you're in Nashville and New Orleans, and all this kind of American music that sort of comes out of that river thing. So my joke is that I live bi-coastal, which is the top and the bottom of the Mississippi River. But I like the dichotomy quite a bit. I mean, that's why I moved there. Minnesota's clean, New Orleans is dirty. Minnesota's kind of not square, but it's definitely not as funky. I mean, we do have Prince, and Prince is funky, but it was a very strange time in my life, and I couldn't pat myself on the back for it at the time. And I mean, I don't know. And we had won a Minnesota Music Award for like best new band, and we tied with Husker Du, and both bands had been around forever. And I was like, I even made like a little speech that was like, music is not like sports. It's not a contest and blah, blah, blah. So I just, now it's a really cool thing. Like I hear my kid bragging to his friends and stuff like that. And, it's a really cool thing. It looks really good on your resume. And, my kid took it to show and tell, and I'm just looking at it, and his mom's handing it out the window of the car and stuff. But yeah, I am. I'm much more proud of it now. I think maybe I took it for granted a little bit at the time, just as I just thought I was going straight to the top and I was just going to keep on going. And, it's nice. It makes you feel like it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like you belong to something which is important, which is, a music thing, and anything that has anything to do with music I want to be involved with. And yeah, I mean, it makes you feel appreciated, I guess. Hey, this is Dave Pirner from Soul Asylum, and you're watching GRAMMY Pro.